Welcome to Calculations, the talk show. I'm Gary Johnson, and we have a very special guest. So glad to have her on. It's Debi B. Jackson. Ms. Jackson, Debi, please, thank you for coming on the show. Let's get it started.
Okay, let's get it started. Thank you so much for inviting us to the show.
Oh, no. I want to talk about this Hal Jackson's, the sponsorships that you may need, the history, the legacy. For those people who follow us on blackmeninamerica.com and then on our YouTube channel, please give us some history of your late husband, Hal Jackson.
Okay. Well, let's say, first of all, he was born in Charleston, South Carolina. He grew up there. He lost both of his parents by the age of 8. He then moved to DC, where he spent a few years, I'd say about 6 to 8 years there, living with one of his sisters. That didn't work out. He left there at the age of 14 and moved to New York on his own and was living on his own. Wow. Just finding work where he could, shining shoes, cleaning bathrooms, whatever. He found out about radio by going, he used to be the mascot at Howard University, and he started doing radio. He was the first sports play-by-play announcer, in radio. He just knew what he wanted to do. He knew he wanted to do radio, and he stuck with it. He went to WINX. At that time, it was owned by the Washington Post, and he wanted to do a radio show. And they said, no N-word would ever be on this station. You can't tell Hal no. He went out and he found a white advertising agency that would call the station to buy time, because the time, I think he said it was $35 per show or something outrageous. And they got 15 minutes time, and 10 minutes before the show was to go on the air, he walked in there with Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune.
Wow.
And the show was only 15 minutes, but it just went wild. And it was on at 11 p.m., but this was one of the first shows that was done by Black people. So it just took off. And then he was on 3 different radio stations at in the same day, which was unheard of back then. I mean, this was in the late 30s, early 40s, and he did that in DC. He came to New York. He did 3 radio stations in the same day in New York City. And then in the 70s, in the 70s, that's when he got together with the Honorable Percy Sutton. And at that time, Mr. Sutton was the borough president of Manhattan, and they started inner city broadcasting. They bought the AM station, which was WLIB AM, and Hal told Percy, no, we got to get the FM too, because that's what's coming along. Because you got to remember, back then it was all AM.
All AM, yeah.
They got the FM station, and it became inner city broadcasting. No, WLIB AM, WLIB FM, and WLIB FM became WBLS,
right?
The first Black-owned station in New York. Then he started Talented Teens, which was back in the early 70s, which was a competition for young ladies with talent. And the reason why he started it was he and his wife at that time, her name is Alice LeBrie Jackson. They started it because there were no competitions for young ladies at that time, Black ladies at that time. So Hal said, okay, no problem, we'll do it. And then it became international, which is why it was called Talented Teens International. And some of the people who have come through Talented Teens include, I just found out last year, I was reading Taraji P. Henson's book, and in it she talks about Hal Jackson's Talented Teens and how it was the first to put her on stage. So Taraji P. Henson, Jada Pinkett Smith, Cheryl Lee Ralph, those are like some of the actresses, some of the singers, Evelyn Champagne King, CeCe Peniston, Allison Williams, Melissa Morgan, Regina Bell, And then dancer on point, Ty Jimenez, who's a ballet dancer, and she now is the director of dance at the Dance Theater of Harlem. She was a principal dancer for the Dance Theater of Harlem. Now she's a director for the Dance Theater of Harlem. And then we have Dr. Susan Johnson Cook, who was an ambassador during the Obama administration. And here in New York, we have a judge, a state Supreme Court judge, Tanya Kennedy. So, I mean, they run the whole gamut. The young ladies have done so well, and they all speak very highly of talented teens. If you were to talk to any of them, they all have good things to say.
Wow. How did that make him feel? Just knowing, I mean, all of the names that you mentioned, at least in the Black community, people are aware of.
Regina Bell, I forgot. She was going to. I mean, he loved it. This was, it was his core. And it hurt him, not to be able to do it anymore. But he says 40 years was long enough. So that's when, the youth development jumped in. And what we did was we partnered with Black Women for Black Girls. And so we still give scholarships. We give a minimum of 5 scholarships a year to young ladies entering college. After their first semester, they send in their transcript. And as long as they have a 3.0 or better, we send $1,000 to each of their colleges to help with their education. We've been doing that for the last, I think, 12 years. So the money is running a little low.
Okay.
So that's why we're having this event on November the 9th at Bergen Performing Arts Center in New Jersey. And the tickets are just $45 to $85. And on the bill, we have Howard Hewitt, the Ladies of Sky, Jeff Red, Melissa Morgan, who's a former talented teen, and another group called Bells 2.0. And it's to raise money, for the Youth Development Foundation so that we can keep Hal's legacy alive and going.
When I think about all the names that you mentioned, and those are just the ones that, have some notoriety, just all of the women, all the young ladies who've been through there and what they've gained, what they've learned, and how they've paid it forward to their communities. We need more of that.
Yeah, that's true.
More of that. Come on, folks. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm affiliated with a couple of organizations. We have to, I'm going to find a way for us to do things to help, even if it means other things that can help advance what the ladies are doing or help them with their education or just lessons in life lessons.
Right, because see, at this point, what we're doing is just one scholarship, per young lady. But what we would like to do is to give them a scholarship each year while they're in college and they maintain that 3.0. See, before the competition was a talent competition, and that's how the young ladies won. Since we're not having the competition anymore, it's now academic driven. So we would love to, give money to them all the way through school, just to help, because college is crazy. What it costs now. I mean, when we went to college, it wasn't like that.
No, I put myself through college, and I don't think I could do it now if I had to do it.
No, I mean, now it's like buying a home, trying to just get through 4 years.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. So you mentioned an all-star lineup for the event next month. So tell me just a little bit more about the organization, the youth organization.
Well, the Youth Development Foundation is the umbrella organization of Hal Jackson's Talented Teens. That's our nonprofit organization. Okay, so Hal Jackson's Talented Teens fell under the Youth Development Foundation. And so if you make a donation, you can write it off.
That's what I was getting to. That's what I thought.
It's a nonprofit, and our website is youthdevelopmentfoundation.org. Like I said, the tickets are $45 to $85. And on the night of the event, on November the 9th, we're going to have a VIP reception, and those tickets are $125. But you have to get that directly from us. You can't go through the website for the Bergen Performing Arts Center. for that. So those tickets would come to hjteens50@gmail.com, and you can get in and, you can write it off.
Okay, so if someone was so inclined to just, while they're watching this show, and say, you know what, I'm blessed, I want to give them more than that, you'll take that as well, I'm sure.
Yes, all you have to do is go to youthdevelopmentfoundation.org and tap on the donate button, and we will receive it.
Oh my
We will
goodness.
thank you immensely for it.
What is some of the feedback that you've gotten from some of the ladies who have gone on to be very successful?
They all feel as if it's a talented teen family. We all feel connected. I mean, when they come through, they know that we were there for them, and we tried to do the best that we could for them. One of the things that we did with our international winner was we would always take them on intercultural trips. We took so many kids to London, to Paris, to Senegal, to where else we go? Oh, to Egypt. Yeah. Yeah, that's because, we were at the radio station. And so we would do a trip somewhere, and we would always get free trips if you have a certain number. Our first trip was to Senegal. We took 92 people.
Wow.
Okay. When we went to Egypt, we took 50-something people. So we were able to get extra seats in hotel rooms, with that. And we always included the talented teens in it. And we always included our talented teen staff. So our staff, they stuck together too. It's a family. It's like a family. Talented teen family.
That's what I like. What the feel good of being connected to a family. That, I guess if they ever see each other and their paths cross, you're like, hey, you give the secret handshake and we're in. We know it. Yeah, the little wink, the nod. Oh my goodness.
Another young lady that came through Talented Teens, her name is Nicole Nicholas. And she was out of California, and she was a tap dancer. And she won. And then we found out that she was the granddaughter of one of the Nicholas brothers.
The Nicholas brothers. I knew you were going to say that. When you said Nicholas and tap dancing, I wonder, wow. You had that DNA.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So Hal would be what, 106? 108.
November 3rd. 100.
November 3rd.
So we're paying tribute to him that evening, celebrating his birthday, and thanking him for starting, Talented Teens International and the Youth Development Foundation, and for blessing so many Black women from around the world. We touched a minimum of 30,000 young ladies during the time that we were doing Talented Teens, and we gave over $2.5 million in scholarships and prizes and intercultural trips. I mean, we just gave. Hal was a giver. He said, a clenched fist cannot receive. You put it out there and it will come back to you. He always felt that. He was always a giver, always.
That's great to know, because to me, there's no greater feeling than giving, especially if you can afford to do it.
Yeah.
There's no greater feeling.
Let me give you an instance of.
Come on.
He was amazing. There was one time we were going to the radio station, which was at 801 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue in New York has about 6 lanes. Okay, it's a very wide street on 2nd Avenue. And we're walking down the street. Then he said, I got to go over to the other side of the street. I said, oh, okay. So we walked over to the other side of the street. And he walked over there to give money to a beggar. And I looked at him. I said, you did that? He says, he's always on the other side of the street. I don't know what he's doing over here. But he walked across the street to give that man some money and then walked back.
Wow.
6 lanes. That's the kind of man Hal was.
Well, his legacy lives on. He's touched so many people, and the people he's touched, they're doing very similar things, I'm sure, most of them. And so it just goes on exponentially.
Mm-hmm.
That is his story.
Like you can talk to people like Lionel Richie, and he'll say, you were the first to play the Commodores. I have that somewhere in a video. He was the first to play the Commodores.
Alicia Keys,
when she started, and she brought that. It wasn't her. It was Clive Davis brought
Okay.
her CD, and it was Fallen, the song Fallen.
Yep.
We were the first to play it in New York. I want to say in the country. I can't do that, but I can
Okay.
say we were the first to play it in New York. And, she's always been appreciative for that. She said that she was in her kitchen sweeping, and then all of a sudden she heard her song on the radio. It's like,
And she's got so many multiple Grammys later, and so
that's
many
true.
awards.
So very
Oh, no.
true. Yeah.
Wow. That is the power of giving. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Any final words, anything that you want to say to make sure, because we're going to put at the end of this all the links that you put down for us, for people to donate, for people to visit the website, get that tax donation, make a difference. I mean, you're blessed. Let's push those blessings forward.
Exactly. Well, again, the event is on November the 9th, Thursday. It's a Thursday night on November the 9th, and it's at Bergen Performing Arts Center in Englewood, New Jersey. You can go to their website at Bergen PAC, that's bergenpac.org/events, and get your tickets there for the event. The headliners are, all of them are showstoppers. We have Howard Hewitt.
I've seen half of them in concert.
Exactly. The Lady in the Sky, Jeff Redd, Melissa Morgan, and then we have an opening group, the Bells 2.0, and they're there because it's a husband and wife team, and they sing duets like, Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. And Herb, So they're going to open for
Ashford and Simpson,
There you go. There you go. And let's see. If you want to come to the VIP reception, that's $125. Like I said, we're not asking a lot of money.
Right.
It's $125, and you go for the meet and greet. And to get those tickets, you would email at hjteens, TEENS 50@gmail.com.
Okay, Hal Jackson's Talented Teens International. Debi Jackson, thank you for being on the show, and you'll get some donations.
I feel honored. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.